Well, we're looking at the royal finances and what we've learnt from the latest royal accounts. Let's start with Buckingham Palace, the ultimate symbol of the British monarchy.
At exactly 12:17 in the morning, while the world believed the palace was silent, a locked red folder reportedly moved through a restricted corridor inside a royal residence. No cameras were allowed near it. No staff member was permitted to ask where it was going. According to the story now circulating in royal drama circles, the folder contained more than a routine legal update. Inside were pages that could determine the future of private estates, family heirlooms, investment trusts, and the financial connection between the House of Windsor and its own heirs. But the most disturbing detail was not what the document reportedly contained. It was who was allegedly excluded from seeing it. Prince William was not informed. Prince Harry was not consulted, and the couriers were reportedly instructed to keep it sealed until the succession structure was completely protected. One signature could redirect millions of pounds. One clause could decide whether a future monarch controlled the family fortune or merely inherited the duty of protecting it. So was King Charles preparing an ordinary update to his will, or was he quietly redrawing the financial boundaries of the monarchy? Before we uncover the alleged plan, please like this video, subscribe to Crown Chronicles, and leave a comment. If you were guarding a royal fortune, would you prioritize the family, the crown, or the institution? Stay with me. The final clause in this story could be the most important one of all. From the outside, the monarchy appears to be one enormous family with one enormous fortune. But behind the palace walls, the finances are divided into layers, assets connected to the crown, properties that generate income for the reigning monarch, historic collections held for public or institutional purposes, and the private side of the balance sheet, jewelry, art, investments, residences, and inherited property. That distinction matters. A royal home may be governed by one set of rules. A necklace may look personal yet belong to a protected collection. An investment account may provide income to one generation while the capital is controlled by trustees. In that world, the most powerful sentence can be buried in the smallest paragraph, a single clause deciding whether an heir receives the money, the income, the property, or nothing at all. The reported plan would divide selected assets into separate protected funds, one for historic buildings, one for family support, one for future heirs. Each would carry different conditions. Some beneficiaries might receive income but never touch the principal. Others might inherit the right to use an asset without being allowed to sell it. Anyone living outside the United Kingdom could face additional restrictions. These details remain unverified, but if even part of the story is accurate, the House of Windsor may be preparing for a future in which royal wealth is no longer controlled by one person. Sources claim the most explosive provision is not a property transfer or a jewelry decision. It is a rule about access, a rule that could make family wealth dependent on residency, public conduct, institutional loyalty, and continued association with the monarchy. If that clause exists, this is no longer a question of inheritance. It becomes a question of permission. Who is allowed to remain connected to the royal fortune? Who can receive money but not control it? And who could be quietly removed from the system without the palace ever announcing it? The document has been described not as a new will, but as a supplemental inheritance instrument, one that targets specific assets while leaving the rest of the estate untouched. That would let the palace redirect selected holdings without publicly declaring the family inheritance had been rewritten. A country house could remain in royal hands, but become impossible to sell. A jewelry collection could stay in the family, but be removed from private inheritance. An investment portfolio could keep generating income while the capital was locked inside a protected trust. The language would sound harmless: preservation, continuity, stewardship, heritage, protection. But beneath it, a very different message. The person who receives the benefit may not be the person who controls the asset. As heir to the throne, William's future is linked to the crown. But that does not mean he would control every private asset connected to the family. If selected properties, heirlooms, and investments were placed into protected structures, William could inherit the throne without inheriting unrestricted control over the family fortune. He might be allowed to use a residence, but not sell it. Display a collection, but not transfer it. Receive income from a trust, but need approval to change its purpose. Supporters would call this necessary continuity. Critics would call it a cage, a king bound by financial rules created by his predecessor, inside a system he did not build and might not be able to escape. Prince Harry's position would be especially complicated. The alleged document reportedly does not remove him by name. Instead, it may define the conditions required for anyone to receive future benefits, a formal connection to royal charitable work, residency conditions, and restrictions on using family materials in commercial ventures. If a beneficiary failed to meet those conditions, access could be suspended or redirected. The document would not say, "Harry is being punished." It would say, "These are the rules, and anyone who does not meet them cannot access the money." The same logic could apply to his children, placing future inheritance behind age requirements, trustees, publicity limits, and branding conditions. Inheritance would depend not only on bloodline, but also on behavior and public association. Still, the claim should be treated carefully. No authenticated copy of the alleged document has been publicly established, and no official statement has confirmed the dramatic details circulating online. The most emotional part of this story concerns the royal collection. Imagine a necklace connected to a former queen, private letters written during a family crisis, a painting that has hung inside a royal residence for generations. Under the reported plan, these could be moved into a heritage trust, still visible, still protected, still connected to the family, but no longer belonging to any individual heir in the ordinary sense. The arrangement could prevent private sales, block overseas transfers, and stop heirlooms being used as collateral. The palace could call it conservation. Opponents could call it control. And for the individual who once believed an object belonged to them, the difference between those two words is enormous, because the item might still sit in the same room, in the same house, and yet no longer truly be theirs. Now, the most important detail. According to the reports, the structure may require approval from several trustees before any major change: a senior legal officer, an independent financial trustee, and a representative tied to royal heritage institutions. If true, the next monarch could not simply sign a new document and undo the arrangement. The trust would be designed to survive succession. This is where the story becomes bigger than Charles, William, or Harry. Is the royal family still operating as a private family, or is it becoming a permanent institution with family members placed inside a carefully controlled financial system? The next major royal dispute might not happen in front of cameras. It could take place inside a trustee meeting or emerge through a sealed court filing years later. And by then, reversing it may be almost impossible. If the alleged restructuring is real, three futures are possible. First, it could stabilize the family's finances by separating heritage assets from private wealth. Second, it could intensify the royal divide. Anyone outside the new structure may see the rules as a disguised punishment. Third, it could trigger a legal battle after the succession, as a future beneficiary argues the restrictions were unfair or improperly executed. For now, the most responsible conclusion is also the least sensational. Secret folders, hidden couriers, and instant royal asset transfers remain unconfirmed. Online narratives often mix genuine constitutional ideas with invented details to create a story that feels authentic. But whether or not every dramatic claim is true, the underlying issue is real. Royal wealth is not one simple fortune. It is a network of estates, trusts, traditions, public duties, and private arrangements. Whenever a monarch changes the rules around that network, the consequences reach far beyond one generation. So the final question remains: does this protect the crown, or does it quietly transform the royal family into something more controlled, more restricted, and far less personal? Because the most powerful inheritance may not be the money. It may be the rules governing who is allowed to reach it. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like the video, subscribe to Crown Chronicles, and comment below with your verdict. Should royal heirlooms and private family wealth stay under the control of individual heirs, or be locked away permanently for the protection of the institution. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Crown Chronicles story.